Hi there, it's Chris Perkins here, broker owner with HaliPad Real Estate Inc. and I'm joined today by
Zack Dawson, agent here at HaliPad Real Estate Inc.
We're going to talk to you today briefly about the foreign buyer ban as it was proposed in January and recently how it has changed. So, as of January, the government stepped in to try and alleviate our housing crisis, and instead of coming up with real solutions, they tried to create a solution by banning foreign buyers, which I personally don't think would have had a major effect, but it looked like they were doing something. So with that foreign ban, literally, unless you were either a permanent resident or a citizen or had a work permit, I think it was you had been working here for the last 4 years on a work permit, you would not be able to purchase. So thankfully they made some amendments to that as of yesterday, and we're going to tell you a bit about that today.
Yeah, so the first one is the non-Canadians here on a work permit that still have 183 days or roughly half a year left on their work validity. They are now able to purchase property here in Canada. So that's a big change.
That's the change we really wanted to see. Like you see Nova Scotia trying to recruit doctors, for example. How are you going to convince a doctor from another country to move to Nova Scotia if we tell them they cannot buy a home here? Now the rental market's more competitive than ever, made more competitive by this ban, and they have no housing security. And I know that that's the reason that we did this ban to begin with, was for housing security. But if we're trying to attract people to our community that are going to bring value to our community, to our healthcare center, we have to be able to provide them with housing security as well. Another example of what's recently changed was a non-Canadian can now purchase
Vacant land. Yeah, so vacant land zoned for residential or mixed use can now be purchased by non-Canadians, and they can either build a home or more residential units on that property.
And speaking of development, the other change is that if you were to buy an existing residential property with the plans to redevelop it, to create more housing, then you would be exempt as well. An example of this might be buying a single family home in an area where the zoning has changed, where you could turn that single family property into multiple units to alleviate some of the pressure on the housing system. So how do you feel about the changes overall?
Well, I'm glad that they're here. It was bound to happen eventually. As you said, we can't recruit doctors here and then have no place for them to stay. So it's already hard enough finding a rental, let alone a house. So now it gives them the opportunity to enter the market. Yeah, and obviously we want housing to be attainable for everybody as well. We just didn't feel like this was the way to go about it. Like we had a meeting a few weeks ago with the senior analyst for the Canadian Real Estate Association, and what he talked a lot about was what we refer to as the missing middle. So instead of building these estate lots, etc., these detached homes which are fetching upwards of $700,000, $800,000, or on the other end of the spectrum, rental apartments, why are we not building more row house style townhouses? Opportunities where you still get 3 bedrooms, potentially a garage, a bit of a backyard, something that you could comfortably live in as a family without having to spend that huge amount. The reality is, until we add more inventory of that type to our market, first-time home buyers everything's working against them. So I truly hope that some zoning changes and we change our approach here so that we can actually start to create affordable housing, not try and accomplish it politically. Absolutely.
We're obviously interested to hear your thoughts as well. So we've given you ours and we're happy to have a conversation about this. So please let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll make sure to engage with you. Once again, thanks very much for tuning in.
I'm Zack Dawson, agent here at HaliPad Real Estate.
And I'm Chris Perkins, broker owner at HaliPad Real Estate Inc.